Hey everyone, Nat Daddy here. This week's weekly review. We got about 25 books here for Thursday, May 8th. Let's jump into it right away. Our first book here is Absolute Green Lantern. This is issue 2. I like this book so far. This is currently taking place. Hal Jordan is Black Hand. We see Joe here is a Green Lantern. We don't know how they got there yet, and now this is showing how it's got there. This Abin Sur has landed and kind of blocked off part of the city under this big dome that's shaped like the Green Lantern. And yeah, he's kind of going around saying he's judging people and killing them and that. So they're dealing with that. It shows that during that how Hal and how Joe became Green Lanterns, and going from there. So kind of neat how things are a little different in this series so far. I am liking it. Absolute Superman number 7. This goes into the full origin of the absolute version of Brainiac, and it's kind of creepy and a lot of body horror in this one. I did like this a lot. I'm liking this Absolute Superman more and more each issue, and this one is a great issue to check out. So if you do like kind of like body horror stuff, this is kind of cool. It's a neat take on Brainiac, so do check that one out for sure. All New Venom number 6. I haven't been reading this book too much because I thought it was kind of silly. And the only reason I read it this week is because I wanted to see how Mary Jane does become Venom. And I actually really did enjoy this book. We kind of have like a buddy cop dynamic going on, or an odd couple dynamic going on with the symbiote, the Venom symbiote and MJ here. Neither one can live without the other at the moment. So that's kind of cool. Kind of like how Carnage and Eddie Brock is currently. And it shows them that during the Venom War, how they ended up joining together in that. So it's kind of neat. Again, I still don't like this whole idea of Venom being Mary Jane and that. So hopefully it's not too long in that. I'm sure it's going to change pretty soon once that Venom verse versus Spider-Verse thing happens. But I'd rather see her as Venom as that jackpot hero. So that was all right read. It was pleasant. The third issue of the new run of The Amazing Spider-Man. This has been really cool so far. Lots of action, great artwork, and this one has been, follows suit. We see Spider-Man, he's been dosed by some kind of like fear drug, or he's been poisoned, and that's what has caused the Rhino's heart attack, we find out in here. And Itsy Bitsy's back, and she's kind of hired to take out Spider-Man. So we see a cool fight with them going on, and we just see a little bit more of this character that really is kind of a neat character. She's half Spider-Man, half Deadpool. And we see more of this Peter having to deal with life as this poison runs through his system and has all these illusions and visions going on. Oh yeah, and the Hobgoblin shows up at the end, so that's a kind of cool thing too, because I do enjoy the Hobgoblin. We got issue 7 of this new Batgirl series. This issue is all about the origin of Lady Shiva, which is Cassandra Cain's Batgirl's mom. So she's on a train and she's listening to this like journal that her mom has left her, and on digital format, so she can listen to it on the train ride. So we see how her mom was living in the Himalayas with her almost sister, not a blood sister, but almost a blood sister type of thing. They're so close, and how their family got wiped out by other tribes, and how they landed at a monastery and trained and became super warriors that they were. And it shows how that life got taken away from them as well too. So this is only the first part of the origin of Lady Shiva, which is pretty good so far. The premiere issue of the Captain Planet and the Planeteers. This is a kind of a modern retelling of Captain Planet, I'm old enough to remember Captain Planet back in the 90s. I thought he was kind of a silly hero then, and this is a pretty awesome reboot of him. So, Captain Planet himself is this hero, guardian planet figure that shows up when all the earth, wind, fire, water, and heart totems kind of get together, and they're like rings here. So it's almost like Green Lantern and Power Rangers put together before that stuff. And we see how the new, I guess she's like the new Earth Priestess, Gaia, is trying to track him down and call him to help the world. So he's been helping out since pretty much almost the beginning of time. So at this current point, they actually do take down Captain Planet and capture this new priestess. And the rings go out to find their new owners. So we see the 5 new people get their rings and learn what's going on, forming this team of the new Planeteers. So we will see them hopefully get together and interact and trigger the Captain Planet in that. So pretty good start so far. Lots going on in this book, and that's only the first issue. Fantastic Four movie comes out pretty soon, and because of that, we'll be seeing lots of Fantastic Four stuff here. And we got the first book of a Fantastic Four anthology series. 3 stories in here of just Fantastic Four stuff. They're fun stuff. If you're a Fantastic Four fan, you'll like it. You don't have to be following to read any of this stuff. You can just jump on in. So if you're a casual fan or someone that wants to be introduced to it, this would be a great read. Just like I said, 3 adventures of the Fantastic Four. And there's going to be a few issues of this coming out. So from Mad Cave, which has been pulling out lots of great books lately, we have issue 2 of Far Down Below. We have 2 young guys that went exploring an abandoned old mansion on one of their family's estates. And while they were there, because they've heard it's been haunted and stuff in the past, while they were there, a fire started and they fell through the floor into an underground cave system. And that's where they are now. And they've come across somebody who is actually one of the guy's grandparents, his grandfather, who disappeared way back in like the 70s. So there's that going on. The parents of these boys are now freaking out because they're missing in that, and they're wandering the tunnels with their grandfather here, where parts of it again are caving in from this fire at the house above. So they're trying to get their way out. It's a neat book so far. There's obviously some kind of supernatural stuff going on under the house in this tunnels and that, and we will see what's going on there. So I really like that book so far. That's Far Down Below. From AWA, we have a book called Lookout. This is the prestige size, the magazine size books. And it says here it's an illustrated novella. And yeah, that's what it is. I didn't realize that at first until I started flipping through the pages. So it does have a lot of words in here. It's, like I said, it's like a book, a novella, a little short story. And there is illustrated stuff in there to make it kind of like a graphic novel type of thing. So it's about this guy. He's trying to get over a divorce. He decides to be a fire starter out in the woods and that, in this deserted area. So while he's at work, he finds a scrap of paper, and that's what we saw there, where it has rules to avoid the weeping lady, and she's like this kind of urban myth lady that supposedly haunts the forest and that. And as it gets dark at night, and he starts, feeling a little, spooked, and things start happening, and it kind of gets like all Blair Witchy. So great book. It is a longer book. It is over 50 pages, and there is a lot of reading. At the same time, too, it's a spooky story. There's some cool artwork as well. So, yeah, don't let that be a deterrent. Great book. Look out. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 316. now that the Silent Mission one-shots are done, we're back to the G.I. Joe regular series here. This is not the Energon stuff. This is the original stuff going on since the 80s. And here we have, after all the fallout of the Cobra War, there is some Cobra guards that want to defect, some Cobra supporters that want to defect the G.I. Joe. And now there's a chance for a team of G.I. Joes to kind of go undercover and infiltrate and see what's going on from the inside. So they're getting ready for that. And we see more of these kind of AI robots in that, cleansing everything from Cobra Island there, and taking over as well there as well. So we also see that Destro and the Baroness are recovering with Cobra Commander as well after all this war. They're going to be kind of teammates, or at the time being just out of necessity, even though that they're enemies. So I'm really enjoying G.I. Joe stuff. So from Boom Studios, we have the 4th book of In Bloom. We've been covering these as they've come out. It's really got some creepy body horror artwork in here. It's about a society where kind of like vegetation and spores and all that have kind of taken over the world. So there's people that are kind of all part like part plant and all that. And it's a big thing when these people bloom into these new creatures, or whatever I want to call them. So currently there is a murder mystery going on involving a detective and his partner. His partner is a bloom person, and he is not yet, but it seems like he's turning more and more as this book goes. So the people who do have bloomed or turned into these creatures and that seem to get a little bit better lifestyle after it in the end. So they kind of move up higher in society and that. So at the same time too, everybody kind of looks like monsters and that, because like I said, all this the green has infiltrated the humans. So it's neat. I like it. I like it mostly because of the creepy body artwork and that, and the mystery's all right as well. So we'll see where it goes from here. From Dark Horse, we have issue 3 of Junk Scare. It's been an awesome book so far by Colin Baum. We have a young woman who is a superhero, kind of a vigilante in this town, and her powers are that she can pull out any weapon that she remembers seeing in a horror or slasher movie. So her sister was actually kidnapped by this mutant guy named Grindhouse, I believe, and she is on her way to get through his bad guys and that, and to get her sister back. So while that happens at all, we find out there's an even bigger enemy, that threat that is after both of them. So they reluctantly or will have to maybe team up to take out this bigger threat. So really neat. Like I said, lots of gross body morphing and horror in here as well too. So that's a fun one. That is Jump Scare. Let This One Be a Devil is the 3rd issue of James Tinian's True Words story about the New Jersey Devil. Here they call it the Leeds Devil. So it jumps around this time period, 1909 and a little bit earlier as well, about the urban myth of this creature called the Jersey Devil. So at this one place in Philadelphia, they claim to have it on display and that, but it is actually just a fake one there. But over in New Jersey, there is sightings of this been going on and has been going on for years in this one town. So this one family is quite involved in it, because the one guy has kind of been reporting stories on it. He left originally to go get away from this all. Now he is back reporting on it, and it's causing his family some hardship in that as well. So of course everybody's all worked up into a frenzy to hunt and track down this creature, and we all know when that happens, usually good people get killed where that could have been avoided. So that's a neat one there if you like cryptids and monster stories and that. Speaking of monsters, the next one from Dark Horse, we have Los Monstros. This is kind of neat. It's a detective story that takes place in the 50s. A private eye who is a werewolf, and he lives and works in what they call Los Monstros, which is an area around LA, I believe, where all of these monsters in that live. So he's, like I said, a detective in this town that is all monsters. So fun book so far. I liked it a lot. Like I said, this guy is a werewolf, and he's dealing with other, vampires and monsters and, creatures from the Black Lagoon and Bigfoot, and so that's a fun book so far. From Mad Cave, we have the third issue of Pop Kill. This has been that fun, sexy book about two brothers who own competing soda companies, and they're always trying to one-up each other by all means necessary, even things like sabotage and assassins and stuff. And what's happening here is there's this young woman scientist who has discovered a formula that can make the sodas stay fizzy for way longer. So, of course, they're both after her, and they've both been, doing horrible things to try to bring her in and get her formula and that. So we see lots of killing. We see lots of kind of spy stuff and sexy stuff in here as well too. So it's a pretty fun book. I like it a lot. And it's just kind of crazy because it's about two, like I said, all-powerful soda companies like Coke versus Pepsi to always be the top. And it is run by two former Siamese twins brothers. So the second issue of the Black Label DC's Resurrection Man. I've gone into here, and I do like this book because I think it's a neat character in that, especially how they're incorporating all the old stuff. But it's just, this book is very confusing. Or maybe it's just too deep for me to understand. But the artwork in here is kind of cool as well, too. At this time, the Resurrection Man is kind of be like almost like a cosmic level, and it shows him trying to deal with that, as well as at the birth of this cosmic level version of him, there's almost like an anti-version of him as well there that's trying to end things. So I believe that's what's going on. Like I said, it's a little confusing. So but Ram V does do cool deep books when he does writing, so that doesn't surprise me. But I'll read maybe the next issue, and it's probably best to read then a collected form, but that is the Resurrection Man. Issue 3 of the reboot of Silverhawks, which has been pretty awesome. I do remember Silverhawks as a kid, but I never got into them. I wasn't a big fan, so I was curious to see how this book would be, and it's pretty fun. It is takes place after all the old original stuff, where the Silverhawks nowadays are kind of old and outdated, and we're actually just getting ready to be retired and put out of commission when their old enemy Monstar has broken out of prison, where he's been for many, many years after they put him in there. And now he's going on an all killing spree and revenge to take them out. So the older Silverhawks are getting back together and helping train some new ones as well. All hopefully trying to find and take out this Monstar before it gets too late. So pretty cool book so far. I've been enjoying it. Like I say, I am from the 70s and 80s and do enjoy all those reboots of those properties. Much like this one here, the Johnny Quest and Space Ghost reboots have been going on, and now they're doing a crossover called Space Quest. Basically, we have the Johnny Quest team investigating about some alien spaceship stuff at Area 51, and during the investigating and shenanigans that go on during all this stuff, Johnny Quest and his little friend there get teleported to the Space Ghost ship, and the two kids and the monkey from Space Ghost get teleported to Earth. So that's kind of cool, and see what happens after that. So Boom, their other weird, creepy vegetable book is The Creeping Below. It's weird how they got them both going at the same time, because I actually get them confused because they're kind of similar. Same type of thing. We have this woman who's come back from the dead, and she's kind of like this plant godlike person now. She has these plant powers, kind of like the green or like Swamp Thing type of thing. So yeah, she doesn't know where she's been these last few years, and she's got some friends here that are trying to deal with all this. And it's also a little hard to see some of the stuff in here. The artwork is kind of dark in that, but obviously for intended purposes. But neat book so far. Again, about more of this kind of plant life, living source that wants to take over. So. Another one of these reboots. This is issue 3 of the Herculoids from Dynamite. I remember watching this as a kid on Hanna-Barbera stuff. It didn't really make sense to me much as a kid, but I still remember watching it because I was really young. But it's pretty simple. The Herculoids are kind of like this Space Family Robinson. These father and wife and son, and they have these kind of crazy monster dinosaur creature pets that live with them. And yeah, so it's neat fun. The creatures are kind of neat. We got a dragon with like lasers and stuff for it. You got this big kind of hippo, almost like a stegosaurus type of thing, and a giant King Kong type of thing that's like made out of stone, and the two blobby shaped things. So cool book so far. And this issue they're dealing with these mole man people. So mole man people were always a trope in comics and cartoons, and especially in the 70s and 80s and 60s. So all right, another one of these great books is the Thundercats. This is Thundercats Lost, issue 2. This is about the team of Thundercats, I guess they're Thundercats, that were sent out before the team that we know. They were sent out to kind of scout Third Earth before everybody else, and they have crash landed, and they've gotten themselves in trouble as well. So this is almost like a prequel to the Thundercat stuff that we know and that's going on right now, but it ties in great, and awesome artwork, awesome stories, and some neat new characters that they introduce as well. So check that out if you haven't been yet. Issue 5 of Ultimate Wolverine. I've been enjoying this one so far. This issue here, we see the introduction of Ultimate Sabretooth. So he is still pretty much kind of very similar in that. And of all the Ultimate stuff so far, he seems to be the most similar to his original things, where former soldier, has the same kind of powers as Wolverine, and they seem to have worked together, and now he seems to help mutants in the kind of like this mutant underground railroad type of thing. So, and I guess the Wolverine or the Winter Soldier there has been sent to take him out. So lots of action, and again, Ultimate stuff and the Absolute stuff has been pretty amazing. And lastly, we have Mad Cave with a new book called Vanishing Point. These are going to be like an anthology series where it has kind of space, scientific, science fiction-y type horror stuff. So we see about this one guy who is leaving his family for 10 years to go do asteroid mining, and these guys that seem to do that quite often don't come back because they kind of just go crazy and disappear. So some neat existential horror there. So do check that one out as well. All right, that's what we read digitally, and we have a couple of books that we read raw. Okay, everyone, this is what I read in physical form this week. This is the Great Garlo. He is the character that kind of reunites all the Nacelle universe. We first saw him in the Nacelle Universe 0, and since then he's gone and met all the characters like the Sectors and the Roboforce and Biker Mars from Mars and whatnot. So now he's on Earth, living his life and that, and we see that he's this little character that when he loses control of his emotions and that, he kind of hulks out and turns into this giant like kaiju creature type of thing. Like I said, kind of like a Hulk or like a Godzilla type of thing. So it's a pretty neat book. I've enjoyed it so far. More of the sillier part of that Nacelle universe. Like you said, this little creature here is kind of like comedy. But again, too, he does unite all the other characters in that universe that they're growing. So kind of cool. Like you said, this is 1 year into that universe, so he was at the beginning of it. This is kind of like another relaunching of the second year. Kind of sets up some other stories in that. So it's all right if you got kids, or if you remember a lot of those 80 products, like the was it Cows from Utopia and the like I said, the Sectors. This would be more fun for you. And the other one we read this week was Image's Free Planet. Lots of buzz about this book. I enjoyed it. It's fun. There's lots of great artwork in there, and the coloring I especially liked. It's about this group, these freedom fighters. They've formed the first free planet ever. So these humans all live on this free planet, and this is the group that defends it all. And we see that how hard it is to actually keep it as a freedom planet. So, like I said, lots of great artwork and action in here, and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that we would see going on, kind of politically different alignments and that happening as well. So, a lot of fun, a lot of great artwork in here. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. Alright, that's what we read this week for new comic reviews. We'll see you next week for more new reviews. Like, share, and subscribe, and peace out.